Great to have you kicking off the week and the month of February with CNN Student News. My name is Carl Azuz. We've got 10 minutes of current events lined up for you, but no commercials. Our show starts in the Middle East with a bit of history. Israel is an ally of the United States. The mostly Jewish country was founded in 1948. Many Arabs in the region opposed Israel. In the wars that followed, Israel defeated the Arabs. But tensions between Israel and its neighbors, which include the country of Lebanon, have been simmering ever since. All right, present day. There's a militant Islamic group in Lebanon named Hezbollah. It opposes Israel and the West. Israel and the U.S. consider Hezbollah a terrorist group. A recent flare-up between Israel and Hezbollah made headlines around the world.
Well, it doesn't take much to start a war in this corner of the world. The latest spark ignited right where Lebanon, Syria, and Israel meet. Borders are contested, land still disputed. So, when violence flares, everyone braces for the worst. This time, the Israeli military says Hezbollah launched 5 anti-tank missiles at an Israeli military convoy traveling in the disputed Sheba Farms area. 2 Israeli soldiers were killed, and Israel immediately responded with artillery strikes. A Spanish UN peacekeeper was killed in the crossfire. The Hezbollah attack was in retaliation for an Israeli airstrike carried out on a Hezbollah convoy near Quneitra in Syria a few weeks ago. An Iranian general and the son of a Hezbollah commander were among others that were killed. Now, it's not the first time this has happened. In 2006, Hezbollah killed 8 soldiers in a cross-border raid, capturing 2 bodies. That sparked a summer war that killed more than 1,000 people. But this time, it seems, tensions quickly diffused. Hezbollah is already embroiled in Syria, and Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, has elections to look forward to in March. So it seems at this time, nobody wants a war.
Still, in the midst of the recent violence between Israel and Hezbollah, Israel put its army on high alert near its border with Lebanon, and it reportedly moved a very advanced missile system into place. In fact, it's probably more accurate to say it's an anti-missile system. It's something that's seen a lot of use in a nation surrounded by groups that oppose it.
Deployment of the Iron Dome missile system is usually a signal that Israel is getting ready for trouble. The Iron Dome has a very sophisticated radar system. When a rocket is launched into Israel, the radar tracks its trajectory, calculates an impact point, and launches a missile to shoot it down. The manufacturers of the Iron Dome system say it's the fastest and most reliable system of its kind and can launch a missile and shoot down a rocket within 15 seconds. And that allows Israelis to live a relatively normal life during a very volatile time. The Iron Dome was very useful in Operation Protective Edge. They say they struck down 90% of the more than 1,000 rockets that were launched from Gaza into Israel. The United States is the primary funder of the Israeli-made Iron Dome system, and it doesn't come cheap. Each interceptor missile costs at least $62,000, and each battery costs about $50,000. Together, the United States and Israel have spent over $1 billion on the system, deploying 10 Iron Dome batteries. But the architects of the system and the Israelis say the cost is well worth it when you consider what has been saved in terms of property damage, economic impact, and most importantly, lives. When those air sirens sound, indicating an incoming missile, by and large, Israelis are glad they have the Iron Dome to protect them.
Taking attendance. Today we're rolling from a city in central Arkansas to the capital of Kenya. Hello, Searcy. In the natural state, or the land of opportunity, it's the Lions leading today at Searcy High School. On Lake St. Clair in southeast Michigan, we've got the Tars watching. Great to see you at Anchor Bay Middle School North. And in the Kenyan capital of Nairobi, we're happy to be part of your day. Shout out to all the students of West Nairobi School. California is seeing what officials consider a large outbreak of measles. Now, large is relative. When we produced the show, there'd been 91 confirmed cases statewide since the outbreak in December, but the U.S. averages 60 cases per year nationwide. Most of California's cases are linked to an outbreak at Disneyland. It's possible to get the disease even with the vaccination, though that's less likely. Measles aren't usually deadly. They are incredibly contagious.
We all know that if you're on something like a plane or a bus or a train and somebody near you were to sneeze and they had measles, you have a real chance of being exposed to the measles virus. But a study from MIT last year found it's actually much worse than that. If I were seated on a plane like this and somebody way in the back sneezed, the truth is that virus now could travel in sort of invisible clouds of micro droplets all the way up to where I am seated here. And what's more, despite the fact that planes have a lot of systems to filter the air, if the virus stays in the air, it could be viable for 2 hours. If it lands on the backs of armrests or in chairs, something like the same thing. And that's a real problem, because if you are not safe against this disease, you have a 90% chance of getting it just by being in the same place, because it is a highly infectious disease.
In the U.S., Black History Month arrives every February. It commemorates the achievements and contributions of African Americans, and the idea started in 1926 with Dr. Carter G. Woodson. He was a historian who believed that knowing their past would help African Americans build a better future. He picked February because it was the birth month of both abolitionist Frederick Douglass and President Abraham Lincoln. The Civil Rights Movement contributed to Black History Month's awareness and popularity. This year, there's a significant anniversary. It's been 50 years since demonstrators marched from Selma, Alabama to the capital of Montgomery. They wanted fair access to the polls so they could vote, but it wasn't until their third march that they were allowed to reach the end.
I was standing up there and the people started running. The black people were beaten, the dogs were hit, and I just turned around to see the folk and wondered why they were beating them so. And I just couldn't understand.
I just don't see how anybody can say that a man can fight in Vietnam, but he can't vote in the post office.
We are here and we are standing before the forces of power in the state of Alabama saying we ain't gonna let nobody turn us around.
Last Wednesday's forecast for the Grand Canyon, cloudy with a chance of awesome. We're not talking about the sky, we're talking about what happened in the canyon itself. It was invaded by fog. This was caused by a temperature inversion, a relatively rare condition with cold air on the ground and warm air hovering over it. It trapped clouds in the canyon for a little while and then, like a blanket being pulled off, it disappeared in about half an hour. So they were gone but not forgotten. Well, maybe they became like a cloudy memory. There was once this canyon of information, but the details got misty. I'm Carl Azuz. It's been a grand 10 minutes, but we have to roll out until tomorrow. Hope to see you then.